Hello and welcome to Flooring Models Kit View Time. Today we've got Airfix's 1/24 scale Supermarine Spitfire Mk.IXc. Now I appreciate I'm a bit late to the party with this particular one, but to be honest with you, it's the first time I've actually been able to get hold of a kit. So that's the sort of delay for this one. Literally, I've only had this one here about a week. So yes, as soon as I got it, I thought I'd have a proper look. Now I know there's lots of reviews out there which will go through each rivet, each thread, each sinew of the actual body of this particular model, and there's some people who've done reviews that pull this kit completely apart and tell you what's right with it and wrong with it. Personally, I'm a model maker, and definitely not a rivet counter, so from my point of view I'll just give you a breakdown of what I think generally is really good with this kit and what's bad with it. All right, so as you can see, beautiful box art as always, really nice kit right the way through. All right, so again, that gorgeous box art, a couple of details on what we've got. So fully detailed engine, and then obviously like pretty much all their 24 scale ones, you've got good internals and obviously framing in the wings and the bits and pieces like that. Kit number for this one is A17001, and again we've got round in here some of the options for your markings, which you have a look at the moment as well. So it looks like you get 5 options down there. So in the box we are greeted by, if I can get in it, this particular one, is probably you've seen as well, was all done inside the UK. So it was all printed, manufactured and all the rest of it in the UK and boxed in everything. So we've got a big old wing spar, which is very nice indeed. All right, then we've got a bit of paper. Then we've got the tops of the wings, so it's nice to have the paper protecting them. All right, and then back into bags. So we've got the clear parts, which is fair enough. Get some of this stuff out of the way. All right, so we've got the bottom of the cowling down in there. We've got the fuselage halves, which we'll have a good look at. And then we've got 2 sprues in each bag. Very nice with those. And then with these in here. And then we've got 1 bag on its own as well. So we've got obviously all the cowlings for the engine and the various props and spinners, which is nice. We've got big old decal sheet, which is a huge big decal sheet we can see down in here, so that's very nice indeed. And then last up we have the instructions. So plenty of bump in this. All right, we'll look at those in a moment. So my instructions have got a little bit creased up. All right, so if we run through this as quick as we possibly can. So as you might imagine, colour callouts are all in Humbrol, which isn't exactly helpful, but hey. All right, so then we've got down in here, it's talking about obviously so the decals for some of the more detailed areas. So obviously instrument panel with the decal placement down in there, and then obviously we've got things like the this is the compass underneath, I do believe, and then obviously some of the ones on the throttles and on the gear handles and all the side doors and all the various bits and pieces showing where they go, which is actually a nice touch. Anyway, into the build itself. So pretty straightforward. We're going to go down with the seat, then with the framing down behind the seat, and then we've actually got obviously sidewall details, so it's putting in some of those, and then obviously all the details onto these sidewalls, which are going to make up really your cockpit tub. All right, so again, you've got 2 instrument panels depending if you're going to be going with the decal one. I think there's 2 versions of that one down in there. All right, and then putting those through, and then instrument panel being fitted down onto the floor, and then those sides coming in. Obviously then all the various parts, so we've got rudder pedals and all the different sections which make up a highly detailed cockpit right the way through on this one. And then again, just working your way through this methodically in, so you've got formers going down in there, and then obviously all the bits and pieces, the harnesses, because they go through as well, being fitted down onto this one. So obviously we've got some, I presume they're moulded plastic right the way through. We've got the control grip, we've got the throttle quadrant as well being fitted down into there, and then basically making up the actual cockpit tub as a one piece down in here. And then obviously you've got various ones, so you've got a jig down in here, so depending on how you're going to have in this thing open or close with the side door, so you've got a jig to take care of it. So again, very nice job. Obviously we've got different versions, maybe a Spitfire's appearing in the future, so we've got a fillet for the tail for the different tail wheel area. All right, and then obviously the other side of the cockpit coming along and being fitted down into it. Then we've got some of the hoses going through down in there, and then obviously back to the oxygen bottles, so forth and so on. We've got the battery down here at the back as well, all of those areas being fitted. So depending on how you're going to be doing the door, you've got different options right the way through, which is fair enough for that. And then finally you're going to be buttoning up the actual fuselage halves, and then we've got the firewall being fitted down in there as well from the cockpit. Then we're over to the tailplane, so working down in the tail area right the way through. Obviously that's going to be somewhat positionable. We've got rudders, we've got trim tabs as well, right the way through all of those ones. Then obviously we're working over here, so we've got some of the bars we're running up, obviously backs to the flap areas, and then just down on here we've got that huge wing spar, which is going to give this thing really nice rigidity right the way through. Then we've got obviously all the actuators being fitted down in, and we've got the cockpit detail as well for the wheel wells, all of those being done. And then generally just working our way right the way through. And it's talking about your glue points where you want to be gluing it as well, all the way in these ones. So again, we've got wing formers and things like that all being fitted down in. We've got the ammunition bays and obviously ammunition to be fitted down into those ones. All those wing formers going down in there, then those ammunition containers, and then obviously we've got some piping and plumbing and various bits and pieces you might expect to find inside the wing area itself. Are you going to see any of this? Absolutely not. Is it going to be important it goes in? Yes, because you're going to need it for structural integrity for the wing and make it all solid. But what you could do, and lends itself really well on this particular kit, is do something like I did to the old 24 scale Tempest. You can open it up, so you can actually reveal a lot of this detail inside the kit itself. So working our way right the way through. Next up we've got the guns being fitted. So again, really nice detail with all of those, and you've got the clamps for the guns, getting those in, and then obviously you've got some of the actual covers being fitted for the underside of the guns. With all of that done, then you can simply add it up onto the underside. Top half again, so again you've got all the gun covers and bits and pieces. You can do them as a loose fit and having it showing, and then obviously you've got different types of the guns with the actual bulges on the tops of the wings as well, so whichever one you want to do. Radiator system being fitted and put down, built up as well, pretty straightforward, getting those fitted onto the underside of the wings, and then depending on your wing type as well, so you've got clipped wings or the standard. So again, you can fit whichever way you want it to be put down in there. Now we're off to the engine. So again, right the way through, fully detailed all the way into this one. And again, you could actually show it with the engine in or out of the model as well. So quite a nice touch with this one. And then obviously all the details which make up the engine going right the way through. Then obviously we've got the situation where depending on how you're going to be displaying it and showing it, but you can actually have it where it's just a slide cover coming right the way back into this one. Or again, you could have it with side panels off, I assume. Next up, more of the engine bits all being fitted down into this one. So obviously you've got the top of the pots and all the rest of it going down in there. Supercharger, things like that all being fitted, and again right the way through. Very nice detailed engine, as you can see, all in this one. You've got all the plumbing, all the detail. The only thing that's probably missing off of this will be a little bit of wiring, which is an easy job to do, all right, down into there. But you can see very, very nice job all the way through. If you're having it open or closed, it's totally up to you. All right, next up, flaps being done. So again, depending on if you're having it flaps open or closed, and again we've got these little flips that come up, obviously to say when the flaps are down and when they're up. You can see those ones, actuators being fitted in, things like that. And then again, we've got the ailerons being fitted, no glue because obviously they're going to be posable. Got the cannons being fitted, we've got the gear being done and put in there, depending if it's up or down as well, right the way through. Personal choice on those ones. Tail wheel being fitted, and then usual bits and pieces near the end. So we've got the gun sights being put on there, some of the aerials, we've got the canopies open or closed, and again that side door if you're having it open or closed. Last up, we've got the spinner. Again, it's one of those, it's a bit daunting, it's very thick and there's a lot to it, but actually it's quite a straightforward. It's nicely broken down into detailed parts. It's going to be nice and simple to actually follow this one, as long as you keep on track, following the instructions all the way through. But generally, I think that's very nice indeed. We have got a couple of options. So obviously for these, so what I'll do is I'll show you these and you can do your own research on it. So there you go, we got one there, December 1944. Which is obviously my local one. All right, down in here, and then obviously we've got the one over here, City of Winnipeg, 402 Squadron at Kenley, 1943, which is a nice touch. Then we've got, nice, we've got a US one as well. So we've got one down in here from Italy in 1943, December. And over on this side as well, we've got one here, 402 Squadron, summer 1943. Obviously very nice, and then something a little bit different on this one. So you've got one here for the French one as well, early 1945, which is really nice as well. And you got obviously your decal placements, which luckily there isn't too many, so it's not a mass big problem on this particular kit. All right, decal sheet, which is huge and very, very nice and good, high quality, a lot better than obviously they used to be back in the day. But generally you can probably see on these, they're quite thin, solid, good colour right the way through on these. Again, got the French markings and the US markings. I think they look very nice. So generally pretty good. So starting off, probably the most important thing is the skin on this. All right, so the 24th scale we've seen, you know, you can either call it canning or stress skin effect or whatever you want to call it, but what's quite nice on this, it's a lot more subtle. We had it quite heavily on some aircraft, which are probably a little bit more anyway, like the Typhoon and that, but you probably see down in here, this is actually, you can see it, so we've got this canning just down on some of the panels. It's not everywhere. It's not literally every single one's got it in, it's just got some of them, which is a really nice touch. And again, we've got this really nice moulding where you've got the thicker layer over here. So it's got a little bit more meat on the old metal up here, which is going to cover that forward fuel tank. All right, down into here. And then some of these bays, obviously this is the battery bay in here, you can actually open it up. So if you wanted to see that detail, you could open it up right the way through. But generally, the level of the riveting and the sharpness of it is really very, very nice indeed. Again, just about make it out down in there. It's very fine, very subdued. All right, exactly the same on the other side, because obviously we've got the pair of them. Internally, you've got the formers in there, and luckily the ejector pins are very, very faint. So they're not too strong and standing out too much at all down in here. But again, you could, if you wanted to, open these up and obviously have it as a sort of a viewable model inside with all the bits showing, which is obviously quite a nice touch as well, which is something I did a few years ago now, but very nice indeed. So we've got that. So if we look at the tops of the wings, you can see again really nice riveting detail, very nice, very crisp. It's actually, I don't know if you can see this, quite a soft plastic. It's, you know, it's pretty springy, this one as well. It's not like we've seen before, but again, it's held the detail really well. So again, nice even crispness to all the riveting detail. So this wing spar, I thought might be a bit stronger than this. I wasn't expecting it to be quite as bendy, but yeah, so you've got the wing spars down there on the other side. Internals as well, you've got some nice stuff. Unfortunately, we have got ejector pins right the way down in here, but that's quite easy getting it with a sander, and you can just sand them out. But really nice detail in these wheel wells again, so that's actually going to be very nice indeed. So there we go, that's the wings. And then we've got the underside. And again, really nice detail all the way through on this, complete with we've got the lights, which is just down under here. You can just barely see it through the moulding for both sides. So again, you can see, it's got really nice details underneath the main area. The riveting stands out, very nice. And again, we haven't got any canning or stress skin on the wings whatsoever, it's just on the fuselage. So again, very nice. On the inside of these, obviously there's nothing to write home about, because obviously none of this is going to be seen. But very nice. Just whilst we've got it here, we've got that sort of underguard area. Unfortunately, we have got a centre seam, or a mould seam that's runs down in here. I don't know how well the camera can actually pick it out, but there is one that's just popping down on both sides of this. So again, I think it would be you know, a couple of swipes with the sander will get rid of that, but you can just about see it just down in here. It's very fine, but generally the riveting detail is very nice, very sharp, very crisp. Again, plenty of ejector pins in there. So again, if you want it as a viewable part that you're going to be seeing it, you're probably going to have to do a little bit of work and maybe putting some formers in there and stuff like that if you're going to be showing the underguard. Right, okay, so where do we start? Okay, so giant sprues, as you can see, we've got 2 sprues in each bag. Alright, so if we start in this one, as you can see. So again, working round it, we've got various panels, top panels. So we've got those gun bulges on the sides, we've got the flaps down in here, we've got the radiators. Very nice. Again, very floppy, the plastic, very soft, and everything's into hoo-ha's. But down in here we've got the ports for the shell casings, very nicely detailed and done. Again, because you're dealing in 1/24 scale, things are just a little bit bigger, but you can probably see down in here you've got some denotions down in here, say number 1P, and with your arrow to the upside showing how these things all go. We got just down in here on the radiator, it's actually got down in there 1 arrow up 2, showing you the donations of which way the radiators all fit in and go, which again is a really very nice touch as well. So on this particular one, as you can see, you've got sort of port and starboard sides just done just like that, which is very nice. And then again, pretty much the same on this one as well, port and starboard side. Here we are on sprue F. And again, nice touches. So we've got the formers for the wings, all these different areas down in here. You can see looking very nice as well. We've got the guns with the different guns down in there. Got the ammunition trays, and again, pretty much exactly the same on the other side as well. So that's very nice. So again, we're working quite symmetrical with these ones because obviously they are the same on both sides. All right, so this one over here, we've got the cowlings and all the areas around the engine. So we've got the side cowlings, we've got the spinner, we've obviously got the props. I think that's the oil cooler. And again, all that different framing work, as you can see. So it looks really, really nice on here. So again, these are the parts of the engine as well. So again, two types of bottom here. We've got the shorter version and the longer one as well. I think that's your oil cooler underneath as well. And again, we've got the framework for the engines, for the actual engine mounts as well. And then over here, we've actually got the, probably this way around, you'll identify it easier as well, for the side cowlings. Again, none of the cowlings have got any framework or any sort of details inside them at all, nor do the bottom ones or anything else like that. So again, it might be worth just popping some framework in, but if you're doing it off the framework of some of these as well, it can work very, very well with it. So it just depends how you want to display it and show it. All right, and then down on here, we've got the actual spinners and the props. So again, all looks very nice with all the details. So yes, very good. And we've got in. So this is parts, tell you what, let's do the tails and things first, and then we can do the engine. So there's all the tail planes, all the various parts. So again, you can see the details. Very nice indeed. We've got the texture and the ribbing and the various ones. Different types of tails as well. We've got the more pointy one, and obviously we've got them, I think this is the Mk.IXc down in here as well, depending on which one you're doing. And again, just on the inside, pretty much nothing to look at. So yeah, all looks pretty darn good. My only worry is if the plastic's soft, if you come along with your glues and you do your normal run-ins around here or the rest of it, you might get a little bit of melting action, a little bit of shrinkage, shall we say. Okay, nice bit down in here. This is all the engine detail, and to be honest, it looks very, very nice as well. Obviously, the big thing about Spitfire, let's face it, is that gorgeous Merlin engine. And yeah, a lot of time's been spent detailing this area up and making it very nice. So you can see down in here, we've got the pots, and obviously we've got the covers, got the sump down in there, and all the various bits that make up that gorgeous Merlin engine. We've got the exhausts, which are not hollowed. I'm assuming there may be another part that's going to go in just under the underside of these, but they're not hollowed out, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, that's all right. So down in there, got the various areas, and again we've got the engine mounting brackets, which look very nice, very sharp, very crisp, which is very nice. Obviously a lot of the plumbing, we've got the wiring harnesses, things like that molded in for you as well, and then obviously the areas all up in here, looking very, very good, all of it. As I say, no sign of any short shots or funny things, so that's always a bonus. That's nice. Okay, so last of the big sprues. So down in here, we've got the wheels, the doors, the main gear, big beefy main gear on this one, which is nice. And then obviously we've got that firewall down in here and all the different parts. So if we start over here on the wheels, again, it's nice that these are plastic wheels, and they've got a little bit of weight on wheels with them as well, but nothing too much. They are marked as Dunlop tyres, which is quite nice as well. And obviously we've got the doors for the gear, and again the ejector pins are nicely tucked out of the way. It's a nice little bit of riveting, which is all raised rivets on the inside as is, which is nice. We've got the wheel hubs, depending on which one you're doing. All right, which is very nice. And then down in here we've got the jig. This is that jig area. that we had for doing the windows with the door down, things like that. Actuators, aerials, doors, different types of doors fitted down into this one as well. And then obviously we've got the other half of the cannons right the way through. Some more of the little ones, those little doors that pop up to say your flaps are down, things like that, which is nice. Then over here you've got that big old firewall, again with all the really nice details on the other side of it. Some of the other pits down in here. So again, this is that tail wheel area. So this one I assume is specific, which is E to the firewall and the tail wheels and the various details down in here to this particular version. So very nice. Last up, some of the interiors. So down on here on sprue D, we've got a lot of the decent areas down in here. So we've got those harnesses, which actually don't look too bad actually down in here. Obviously floor, sides, formers, blah, 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 right the way through. So yeah, and again, very, very nice details. Okay, the harnesses actually look very nice, considering I thought, ugh, yeah, get a set of fabric ones for it, don't look too bad. The wiring down in here as well, which I think that side must be for the gear control lever, down in that one. We've got the oxygen bottles as well, which is very nice. All the details which are going to make up the cockpit. We've got the rudder pedals, and again, the floor looks particularly nice. As I say, you've got the bulkheads, more bulkheads. Sidewall details, obviously got a lot of stuff that's going to go on there, which is fine. And then over here we've actually got the formers making up around the cockpit area and some of the plumbing and wiring and hosing as well. And so yeah, that's actually very, very nice indeed. So last up we have a few of the clear parts, which I can hear things rattling around, which is amazing. So this is a brand new kit. It's alright, it's just a sprue peg. Okay, so clear part has a slight hue to it. I'm sure it doesn't matter because you're not going to notice it, but clear parts look okay, but it looks like it's got a little hue to it. But yeah, so again, I don't know if that should be like that or it's just been bent, but whichever way. Generally though, clear parts look really very, very nice. We've got no center seam in the clear parts at all, which is, there is actually a centre seam on that one. This one doesn't look like there's a centre seam, unless my eyes are failing me, but this one has got a very, very faint centre seam in it. Weirdly, that one's got a really faint one. That one I can't see one in it. Anyway, this is the difference between those instrument panels we were talking about, so you can do those ones. And again, if you look at the front here, looks very, very nice indeed. Very cool. Didn't it have the extra armour glass on this one? Is it actually got it already in there? I thought it had 2 layers of glass. And then obviously you've got the rear part down in there. And again, those are all, you can probably see, absolutely crystal clear. No problem with that. And again, even this one here, it's a really complex the way that they do this because it is domed. So to try and get that in a mould is very, very difficult. And again, these little guys down here is for the clipped version. So if you want to do the clip wings as well, got the lights in with those ones, you can do. These are those lights as well. And various parts as well for the gun sights and the reticles as well. So yeah, very, very nice indeed. And there you have it. I must admit, I don't know what I was expecting. I was expecting more. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to say it. It's the first time I've actually seen the kit and been through it now. With all the hype and all the bits and pieces it has, I just thought it was going to be a little bit more. I don't know in what way either. To be honest with you, the detail on the kit is absolutely beautiful. It's absolutely fantastic. It's got really nice details. It's just that I don't know, I was expecting more sort of stressed skin and stuff, and I know technically the Spitfire is a stressed skinned aircraft anyway, so it wouldn't be canning out where it's loose, but I thought it would have a little bit more onto it. The engine, to be honest, looks absolutely fantastic, and the cockpit looks amazing. They're the 2 biggest areas on this kit, and you want everyone to see it. So I'd definitely be showing off that engine. You're definitely going to be having the canopy all open and things like that. So yeah, from that point of view, I think it's really, really nice. It's such an iconic aircraft. It's really hard to be negative about it. But I do know, and I am aware of, and I've got even some friends of mine in the industry who've done reviews of this, and they found faults with it right the way through. There's a lot of negative out there, but to be honest with you, it's because this aircraft is so well loved and liked and known. That's the problem. If you'd done it on anything else, people probably wouldn't even know. But because the Spitfire is one of those things where we can go around, we can get lots of access to it, we get lots of things. It's like the latches and the various, you know, bits and pieces on this one are the wrong shape, wrong design. They should be raised, they're and I don't care at the end of the day. To me, it looks like a Spitfire, and this is by no means, you know, an easy or straightforward kit. It's going to take you a little bit of time, it's got a little bit of detail, but what you are going to end up with is the best 124 Spitfire out there by miles. It's a lot better than the competition's one, which is what, Trumpeter? But generally, I think it is really nice. Well done to Airfix for redoing it, because to be honest, their old 24 Spitfire was horrible. By this standard, I should say. But generally though, I really do like it. It's not going to be one of those you're going to chuck together in an afternoon. You're going to have to put a little bit of work into this one, and you're going to have to put a little bit of thought into it as well about how you can be displaying it and things like that as well. Again, a little bit of a shame you don't get a pilot. Would like to have seen a pilot in there, and even a stand I think would have been nice as well, so you can display it in flight, because there's something about a Spitfire, you know, gear up and no bits out of it would have been really nice. But apart from that, I'm literally just being picky. Anyway, that is the gorgeous Airfix 1/24 scale Supermarine Spitfire Mk.IXc.